I want to talk about what makes a good heel in the professional wrestling world. Because there's been a lot of talk about what certain people deserve as far as getting world championship runs as heels. They are missing a big chunk. They're missing a point. When I have these conversations with people, they name certain individuals. But the problem is that when you think about good heel, of course, you're always going to think about the past. Some people say that it's not fair to compare the current to the past, and I'm like, wait a second. If you're saying that, then why do you always bring up the Attitude Era? The Attitude Era is brought up all the time as far as saying that it's the best era ever. And then there's motherfuckers like me that grew up in the golden age era of the 80s and early 90s and all of that, where this was for the workhorse of the fucking company in WWF. And then you had the AWA and the National Wrestling Alliance and WCW and the ECW. All of those shows had great quality matches and heels on it, depending on your taste. Now, for me, a heel is someone that you have to take seriously in the ring. Okay? Someone that can just talk on the microphone. Managers can do that. But managers do not qualify for world championships or even mid-card championships just because they can fucking work a crowd or talk on the microphone. That's not enough for me. Just because a heel is against a certain face that you hate, Cena, that's still not enough for me. You have to prove it in the ring. What made Ric Flair so fucking great is that he established himself as a fucking threat as a heel. When he was a heel, you knew whenever he got in that fucking ring, he was going to mean business. He was going to put up, he was going to do everything that he does and look convincing while he's doing it. You weren't going to question Ric Flair. You didn't question Mr. Perfect or Kurt Hennig. You didn't question Bret Hart face or heel. You didn't question Undertaker, Stone Cold, Rock, Triple H, Vader. You didn't question Sid Vicious. You didn't question these motherfuckers as heels. Okay? You just didn't. It was just cut and dry. These motherfuckers are threats. Now, again, my main problem is when a certain individual comes to mind. And that individual is The Miz. When people try to say that he's a quality heel, and I'm like, no, he's not. He could talk on the microphone. Again, he's perfect as a manager then. He's perfect as a manager. And he runs away. Again, that's what managers did. he's a fucking pussy character. Again, that's what managers did. So, when it comes to being a quality heel, you have to put on good matches and classic matches. The Miz hasn't done that. In the decade that he's been in WWE, he has not done that. And that is my basic cut and dry argument with him. When people say that he's just a good heel and that he headlined WrestleMania, well, guess what? Lawrence Taylor headlined WrestleMania too. Doesn't generally mean anything, okay? Now, when you talk about faces, you talk about the traditional faces or the badass faces. All of that is cut and dry. But big faces, you know that you're going to automatically take them seriously. Regardless of any... Okay, Hulk Hogan, a lot of people didn't like Hulk Hogan as far as his wrestling style and all of that. But he was a monster as a face. He was, what, 6'7", 6'8", 300 something pounds. Powerful as all fuck. Again. And the man could wrestle WWE, WWF, just dubbed him down. But they always put these larger-in-life threats in front of him. Think about it. Larger-than-life threats took the belt from him at one point or another, whether it was by hook or by crook. You had Andre, you had Yoko, you had Warrior, you had Undertaker. Take these titles from him in WWF. Why is that? Because those motherfuckers that I just named, you took them 100% seriously. The Miz, I don't take seriously as a fucking wrestler. One of the main arguments that I get is that he's a heel. You see, you hate him. That means he's doing his job. No. He's hated for an entirely different reason. I currently had this argument on eWrestling News with someone called the Vegemite Kid, who just don't get it because he is so embedded in who he likes. And there are a lot of people that are like that are embedded for who they like and will not take in new information and will not try to understand where anybody else is coming from or even logic, common sense within a situation or within a conversation. The reason why The Miz is hated by so many is because you can't take him seriously in the fucking ring. And they always try to deem it as that. Okay? Even when he was in the main event against John Cena, it wasn't even just about him and Cena. You had Alex Riley and then you had The Rock. That feud between The Rock and Cena was more important than anything else. Even before their match. You had The Miz needing help to beat Jerry Lawler in ladder matches? Seriously? This is someone that you want to take seriously. Okay, I'm going to name off some heels. CM Punk. You took him seriously, didn't you? Chris Jericho. You still take him seriously. Even though he's slowed down, you still take him seriously. In the ring. AJ Styles. You take him seriously as far as his fucking wrestling ability in that ring. That's my point. When you name off certain heels that are great, you establish them as threats. The Miz is not that. So as far as The Miz being a quality heel, as far as wrestling, no. No, he's never shown that. Because if you put him against someone like Goldberg, there's no contest there. There's no conversation. He's not a threat. You won't put him against Brock Lesnar or The Undertaker. You're just not. You could put CM Punk in those positions. As a matter of fact, CM Punk has been in some of those positions. You could put Jericho again. You could put those guys there, and they can actually be established threats to the big faces. The Miz is not. Now, The Miz could be a perfect manager. He could manage his wife if she came back wrestling. Let's think about this. If she came back as a wrestler, she's not good on the microphone. He could be her mouthpiece. Just like Jimmy Hart was a mouthpiece. Just like Bobby Heenan was a mouthpiece. Just like Paul Heyman is a mouthpiece. The Doctor of Style. You had all of these mouthpieces out there that can actually sell their product. Sell their wrestler. Sell whoever they were managing. That's what managers were there for. Besides cheating. And he can do that too. So if Maurice would come back and Miz be the manager, then that's a perfect situation. He could sell her as far as a threat in wrestling and stuff like that. And he could help her get the job done. Not the other way around, because the other way around, again, takes away him ever being a fucking threat as a heel doing shit alone. Look at all the tag team partners that he had that he rode their coattails. Morrison. The whole Dirt Sheet, Be Jealous, that was all Morrison, and he had all the wrestling ability. The Big Show, enough said. R-Truth. You think The Miz was the threat there in the GOAT and the fucking Awesome Truth? No. So, look. The Miz is not a quality heel as a wrestler because he's not a fucking threat in the ring. Understand where I'm coming from here. Become a threat in the ring. That's what makes you a great heel. Not just talking. You talk and you get it done in the ring. You make people remember your matches, and then when you make that transformation to face, you're still going to be taken seriously because you were a threat as a heel. Now you're a face, and now you're at the top. That's usually the way that shit works. Okay? So, I hope you understand where I'm coming from here. What do you think about this? I would like to hear from you as a wrestling fan. And again, don't come to me saying that you hate him because he's a heel. No. I don't like him because he can't and will not put on classic matches and establish himself as a fucking threat. Period. Could you imagine The Miz versus Undertaker at WrestleMania? No. And that's my whole point. You can still imagine John Cena. Why is that? Face or heel, you can imagine both of those there. Even though we wouldn't want it, you can still imagine it. Because it makes sense, in a way. Miz? No. So, leave your comments below. Drop kicks, body slams, throwing motherfuckers over the top rope, both feet hitting the floor. Yes, I'm a wrestling fan. This is the theme, and I'll see you later. Credits.